Good morning, everybody. You cannot escape me. So, unfortunately, we won't be in school for a wee while, so everything's going to be done online. So what I'll try and do is for each lesson I'll make a video. We'll go over the video as if that's just like your normal teaching in the classroom, and then I'll set you some work to try and do. So before Christmas holidays we were doing trigonometry, which is sine, cos and tan. And today what we're going to do is we're going to use the tangent ratio to calculate the size of an angle. And I've just reminded you there of your actual tan rule. So tan x is the opposite side divided by the adjacent side, which means in this triangle here, same as before, same as when we always do trigonometry questions, the first thing we need to do is label the triangle opposite adjacent hypotenuse. So I'm standing at the x, so opposite side is here. Hypotenuse is always the big diagonal, the one opposite the right angle box, and the adjacent is the one that's left over. So that's always our first job, to label the triangle. Now, in today's lesson, we're always going to be using the tan ratio. This is the one we're always going to be using. So I would write that down. So tan x is the opposite divided by the adjacent. Or we'll just go with O and A just now. Now I'm going to take these two numbers for the opposite and the adjacent, and I'm going to put them over here in place of the O and the A. So tan x is equal to the opposite is on top, so that's 12. Adjacent is on the bottom, which is 7. Now what I'm going to do is I want to now calculate the size of angle x. Now you see this tan thing here. This is slightly different to the ones we've done before. This is a new bit of learning for you. If I'm going to calculate the size of the angle x, I want rid of the tan. To get rid of the tan, I do the opposite of it, which is actually called inverse tan, and that's how you write it. It's tan with a wee minus 1 up here. 12 over 7. So I want to inverse tan this thing here, and that's how I write it, tan to the minus 1. Now I need to show you how you would do that on a calculator. So I would assume most of you are probably using your phone as a calculator. So here's my phone with my calculator on it. To get the sine, cos and tan stuff up, you need to change your calculator to the side, and then you should be able to see we've got sine, cos and tan in here, if that focuses. What I'm going to do is I need to do this in a certain order. So you can see from the question, remember the question was 12 over 7. There's my camera. So it's 12 over 7 inverse tan. So in my calculator, the 12 is on the top, the 7 is on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 12 divided by 7, hit equals, and now I want to inverse tan. Now on my display I can see tan, but I can't see inverse tan. I can't see tan minus 1. What I have to do is I have to hit this button here, the button that says second. If I hit that, you will see that these all changed to have a minus 1. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the tan minus 1. So you can see my calculator still got this big long answer for 12 divided by 7 in it. And now when I hit tan minus 1, out will come 59.7. And that is the answer. Okay, so it'll take a wee bit of getting used to, because that's a new thing we haven't actually done before, this inverse tan thing. What I'll do is I'll do another example just now. So I've got a triangle. I'm going to put that's x. I'm going to put the opposite side here, which is 20, and the adjacent, which is 12. So here's my triangle here. Now first thing, as usual, I'm going to label opposite adjacent hypotenuse. So I'm standing at the x, so there's the opposite. Hypotenuse is a big diagonal, and there's the adjacent. Next step, I want to write down my rule. So tan x is O over A. It's the opposite divided by the adjacent. Now I'm going to bring these two numbers in space of the O and the A. So tan x is going to equal the opposite, which is 20, divided by the adjacent, which is 12. Now I want to work out the size of the angle x, so I'm going to do inverse tan 20 over 12. We would always have to do this when we're calculating the size of the angle. That's always going to be our final step. Now I go to my calculator. Now remember, it's the top number divided by the bottom number. Okay, so I'm going to go 20 divided by 12. And that gives me that answer there. Now what you will see is that this second function button has still been selected from when I did it the last time. So the tan minus 1 button is down here, and I hit the tan minus 1 button, and that will give me my answer, 59.0. Okay, so because we've hit the second function button already, we don't need to do it. It will just stay hit, and your tan minus 1 will be down here. Okay, so there's a couple of examples. Now what I want you to do is I want you to try these 3 questions over here. So you can see the first one. So try that just now and hit pause. There's the second one. And there's the third one. Okay. Try those 3 questions just now. Right, so for the first one, again, I start by labelling the sides. So x is here, so that's the opposite. There's the hypotenuse, and that's my adjacent. I'm going to write down the rule. So tan x is opposite over adjacent. I'm going to fill in the 2 numbers. Opposite is 24, adjacent is 30. And now I'm going to get what x is. It's going to be inverse tan, so the tan minus 1, 24 over 30. So I'm going to go to my calculator. It's the top number divided by the bottom number. So it's 24 over 30. 24 divided by 30. Hit equals. Tells me it's 0.8. The second function button has already been selected, so I'm going to come down here and get my tan minus 1. Hit that. And you can see my answer if I round it correctly. The 5 will round that up, so 38.7. There's the first one. Second one. Again, label your sides. So I'm standing at the x, so there's my opposite. Hypotenuse is the big diagonal, and there's my adjacent. Write down the rule. Tan x equals opposite over adjacent. Fill in the information. Tan x equals, right, the opposite is 10. The adjacent is 15. And now I'm going to get what the x is. So x is going to equal inverse tan, so the tan minus 1 thing, 10 over 15. And now I'm going to use my calculator. So top number divided by bottom number. So it's going to be 10 divided by 15. Hit equals, gives me this big long answer. And then I want to hit the tan minus 1 button, which is here. 33.7 if I'm rounding correctly. And then we've got the last one. Again, now I've tried to be tricky here. Well, I've used the letter X all the time. This time I've used A. It doesn't matter what letter we use, we still do the same thing over and over again. But what you might find in the textbook is they might change the letter. So it doesn't actually change anything that we do. So I'm standing here, so there's my opposite, there's my hypotenuse, there's my adjacent. Write down my rule. Fill in the information. The opposite is 8, the adjacent is 11. And then I want to do my inverse tan of 8 over 11. And I'm going to use my calculator. So it's top number divided by bottom number. So it's going to be 8 divided by 11. Gives me that big answer there. And then I want to hit the tan minus 1 button. 36.0. Now, for each question we do here, I want to see these 4 lines. Always those 4 lines are working. Okay, remember you can go back and watch this video as often as you want. You can rewind it, you can pause it. It's here to help you. What I'll now do is, once you've watched this, there's going to be some textbook pages that I'll put on. I want you to try and work through. Best of luck.